Hi guys, in this final part of our Christmas animation, we're going to be adding a red carpet, setting up the scene lights, adding our spiral particles and creating our camera moves. If you haven't already, watch my tutorial on fairy lights as you will need to add the spiral add-on, and I also show you how to have the camera track an empty object. Let's get into it. Right, so let's add a carpet now. The way we do that, go to the top view by hitting 7. We're going to go Shift A and we're going to bring in a mesh plane and we are going to scale that on its Y view. So SY, oh, didn't select it. Make sure it's selected. SY and scale it. I've deselected SY and then just do something like that. Then what you can do is go GY and just move it down like that, about there. Just going to the side view just to make sure it's not interfering with the tree too much. No, that looks good to me. Let's go to the 0 view. So now what we need to do is come over to the right hand side, go down to the particle emitter here and just hit plus like that. Gives us this. We need to change it to hair. And then we need to come to the hair length and change it to 0.05. Takes it right down like that. If I do a quick render, we get this, so we can see the hairs. I think we need a lot more hairs, and let's change the color. So the way you do that, come over here, we're going to change the number here from 1000 to 5000. Then what we're going to do is go down to the children section here and change it to simple like that, and look at that, it's created load storage. We're going to make that 15 like that. Now let's give it a texture. We're going to go to shading, we're going to go new, and it's going to look very flat if we just use one color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to add a color ramp. Take the color from there and connect it in to the base color. Then I'm going to do Shift A again. I'm going to add a noise texture. Use it a lot, so it's come up here. And I'm going to connect that color across like that. Now if I click on this one here, I can make it like a reddish color. If I go to the black one here, I can click on that, bring this up here, and we'll just make it kind of a different shade of red or orange. Then what we can do is we can play with the scale just here, and the roughness. Let's take the scale up to 25, like that. Let's go back to our layout view now. Let's render that and see what that looks like. Looking very cool. Only thing I'm going to do is go back in, and under show emitter here, I'm going to just untick that and see what that looks like. So let's render that. Very cool. Okay, let's add some fairy lights, the lights that come from the bottom up, and that's easy to do. We're going to go Shift A. We're going to add a mesh plane. Let's go to the top view. Let's go S and 20, and then just scale it up a bit more. Somewhere like that should do. Let's go to the right view by hitting 3 on the keyboard. Just need to bring it down a bit, so let's just do that. Now what we need to do is create a particle to be emitted from the floor. I'm going to go Shift A, Mesh, we'll go a icosphere, we'll go GX and just drag it along like that. Let's zoom into it. I'm going to go to the front view like that. Just scale it down. Go up to here and go Object and Apply All Transforms like that. Now our dot has disappeared from inside of it, meaning that we need to go here and go Set Origin to Geometry, and our dot comes back. Let's give it a texture. So what I'm going to do is come up to Shading just here, create a new one, and what we'll do is we're going to create random texture on this one. So we're going to go Shift A, search for a color ramp. Connect that in like that, so color to color. Drag this black one all the way across like that. Click on this one, go here, and give it a nice color. Click on the black one, take the lightness up, and pick another color. Now to add more colors, just hit this plus key just here, and drag that along like that, and then add another one. And then if you want to change the color, just come down here. And then what we'll do is we'll change it to something like that, add another one, change that color to like a yellow, and just for fun, let's add one more. So I'm going to click here, one more, drag that one here all the way to the end like that. Now, in order for that to work, I need to come here and go Shift A, and we're going to search for an object info. I use it a lot, so it's that one there. I need to take the random out of that and put it into the factor just there. Let's just zoom into our object actually. So there's our object just there. Let's just play around with some of the settings. I'm going to increase the metal, take down the roughness. Actually going to give it a bit of a opacity by making this 0.5. That's the alpha. And then under emission here, what we can do is we can give it an emission here of say 5 like that. And you'll notice that the color is white and it's changed it to white here. And that's because we need to take this color from here and put it into the color like that. Let's just change that strength down a little bit, say 3 like that. Right, let's go back to the layout. So I'm going to call that icosphere fairy light. Then what I'm going to do is hit 7 on the keyboard, come back to our big square here, click on that. I'm going to come to the right hand side, go down and add a particle. So go to the particles here and then hit plus like that. If I go to the side view and just zoom in, I go to the beginning and hit play, watch what happens. All the particles fall down. And the way you stop that from happening is you go down to the field weights here and turn off gravity by making that 0. Let's play that back and see what happens. And there we are. They come up like that. Let's change some more settings. So for instance, the particles don't have much life here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the start frame minus 200. And what that means is it will create the particles before the animation begins. I'm going to give the lifetime of the particles 350, like that. Let's look through the camera. And we can add some randomness to the size by going here and making it 1 like that. And then when we play that back, we get that. Let's render a frame. And nothing happened because I forgot to swap the particles out. So all these particles you're seeing here are actually called halos. So what I need to do is see this one here. I need to swap that from halo down to object and go in here and select that and go down to fairy light. Very easy to do. Let's change the size as well. Here's my size gone. So it's currently that size. So I'm going to make it 0.5 like that. Actually make it 0.2. Like that, and let's play that back. And let's render a frame of that and see what that looks like. Very cool. Now, do you see the floor here that's coming through there? We can hide that quite easily. All we need to do is click on the particle, make sure it's set up over here. See here where it says show emitter, just turn that off. And then when we hit render, it'll vanish, but the particles will stay there. Right, before we add the spiral animation to this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the compositing just here. I'm going to hit new like that. Going to zoom in a little bit. Hit Shift A, search, and we're looking for bloom. This one just here, and we're going to add that in like that. And you can see straight away it's added a bloom there. Let's go back to our layout view. Just coming across to the right hand side and going down and making sure ray tracing is selected there. And let's do a quick render of that and see what that looks like. Starting to look very cool. One thing I've noticed is the star on top of our tree here is not particularly glowing very well. So let's fix that. So I'm going to click on the star, come to shading, create a new shader like that. What we'll do is we'll increase the metallicness of it, take the roughness down. Again, change the alpha to 0.5 and then go down to the emission and give it an emission of say 4 like that. And let's do a render of that and see what that looks like. Looking very cool. Right, so now let's add our spiral. And the way we do that is we go Shift A, Mesh, and we're going to go to Curve. Then we're going to go down to Spirals just here and add an Archimedean one like that. It's come up with one I did before, so I'll just redo that again. So what we do is you need to go down and increase the height, like so. Then what we can do is increase the amount of turns like that. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to take that, go back into the object mode like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it like so. Just make sure it's 90 degrees in the X just here. And then I'm just going to raise it so it's just above the floor like that. Next, what I'm going to do is add a UV sphere. So Shift A, Mesh, UV sphere even like that. I'm going to scale that right down. Go Object, Apply All Transforms. And now I'm going to link it to the spiral. And how you do that is clicking on the ball here. We need to go over to Constraints, the one above the triangle here. Click on that, and then on the drop down, we need to say Follow Path, this one just here like that. Then under this target one, click here and go Spiral. And we can see it stuck it straight to the end of the spiral just there. The only problem with it is it's the wrong way round. So what we can do is click on the spiral and let's just rotate it in its Y, I believe it is. Oh, it's not its Y, but that looks pretty cool. Is it its Z? It's its Z. So what we're going to do is rotate it 180 degrees in its Z. Then what we'll do is we'll move it down like that. And we can actually see that the spiral is a little bit short. So let's go to the side view like that. And like everything else in Blender, you can scale that. So I'm going to hit S and Y and just scale it across its Y axis like that. Now if we look through the camera, through 0, we can see it's quite small as well. So what we can do is we can actually scale it again. So it's more like that. If I go back to the side view, you'll see that I've actually also scaled it in the Y again. So let's just bring that back. SY. So it's more like that. Let's look through the camera. That looks pretty cool. Just going to move it up a little bit. So it's not going through the floor. To animate that, how we do that is clicking on the spiral, come to the right hand side and see this one here that says data. We need to go there. Then we need to go down to path animation, and it's got frames and evaluation time. And frames basically means how long do you want it to animate over. In this case, I want it to be 240 frames, like that. If I zoom out, our sphere is right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit a keyframe on the evaluation time like that. I'm going to come through to frame 240, just there. And I'm going to change this value to 240, like so. And insert a keyframe or click here like that. And now when I scroll through, we can see our sphere is following the spiral, which is really cool. Let's turn that into an emitter. How we do that, we'll just zoom in, click on it, come across to the right hand side, go down to particles like that, add a new particle system, and we can see it's already an emitter. If I play that, the only problem is if I render that, there's nothing there because they're just halos, they're just there for show. So let's create a particle, Shift A, Mesh. We're going to do a icosphere. It's just here, so GX, bring it across to the left hand side like that. Just over there, go to the front view, select everything, scale it right down, go up here and go Object, Apply All Transforms. Now it's lost its origin point there, so Object, Set Origin to Geometry like that. Let's give it a texture, so I'm going to come to shading just here, create a new one. So what we'll do is we will make it like a bluish color like that. We'll increase its metallicness, drop its roughness, give it some alpha. Then what we'll do is we'll go down to the emission just here, make sure the emission's a similar color to the actual object, and give it a strength of, say, just 3, like that. What we'll do is, it's here in the right hand side, let's call that particle spiral, like so. Go back into the layout menu like that, go to the camera view by hitting 0, go back all the way to frame 0, click on the ball. You can actually do it from the camera view, click here, and then if we come across to the right hand side, change it from halo to object, And then what we need to do is go down and under instance object, go here and change it to particle spiral, that one just there. And then when we play it back, we can see our particles are coming out, but they're quite small. So let's increase them in size, 0.3 like that. And then change the scale randomness to 0.2. Still quite big actually. So let's go 0.08 like that. Let's just render a frame and see how that looks like. So here it is just here. It's rendering the particle as well. So let's just turn that off. So we'll go to show emitter and let's just play that back. Stop it about there. Let's render that. Very cool. So if you go down under velocity here and play with object velocity, what you can do is you can get the particles closer to the particle emitter just by playing around with that. Let's increase our particles as well. So I'm going to increase that to 2000. And currently they have a lifespan of 50, which is, yeah, that's not bad. And we are nearly finished, guys. All we need to do now is set up some lighting and we are go. Right, so let's animate the camera. One thing we have to be aware of is if I go through the timeline here, you'll see that our emitter here doesn't really get on screen until frame 90. And we don't want a camera in front of that. So what we can do is click on the curve like that, grab the first keyframe and just offset it. Let's bring the camera back to 0 and just offset it. There we are, until it comes into screen like that. And so when we play it, the camera's already on, the particle's already on screen before we get there. Right, let's adjust our empty. So I'm going to click in the 3 to go into the side view. I'm going to come up and click on our empty here. At frame 1, I'm going to hit I to insert a keyframe. I'm going to go to frame 240, where our particle system ends there. I'm going to hit another keyframe, go I to insert a keyframe. Then I'm going to go to frame 350, which is the end of the animation, and I'm going to raise that up by hitting G and Z like that. So it's just over, zoom in, so it's just over our star like that. So just about there should do. And then hit I to insert a keyframe. Now remember, our camera is following that. Right, so all I need to do now to animate the camera is make sure that we're on the last frame like there. Then I can literally just pull the camera down like that and then up like that. And then looking through the camera, we get that view there. Let's just bring it down a bit. I'm going to go to the side view like that, zoom in and go G just there. Insert a keyframe. I can actually come back as well. I can come back to say frame 300 and just bring it down a bit more as well, because it's always going to point at it and hit insert another keyframe. Let's do a render and see what that looks like. Oh, that is looking awesome. Right, the only thing I'm going to do now is play with the lights because I think they're a bit bright. So I'm going to click on this light here, come across to the right hand side and change its value down to say 350. On this one I'm going to make it 400. Just going to go back a bit to say here, and let's do a render of a frame there, see what that looks like. Looking very good. I think there's too many boxes as well. So what I'm going to do is click on the boxes just here, come over to the right hand side, and you can actually play with the density just here. So if I meant 0.5 like that, it would halve it. Let's look through the camera. That's looking pretty good to me. Let's do the same for the other side. Let's do a quick render. Right, now what I'm going to do is just change our render settings from Eevee to cycles, CPU to GPU. I'm going to drop the rate down to 1000 and I'm going to render that out. It's going to take a while to do it, guys, so I will come back to you after I've finished. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed these tutorials. Remember, you can download all the project files for free off my website. Just hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I wish you and your family a very merry, joyous holiday season.